towns if you are a basketball fan in the state of Minnesota. This is the second coming of KG. It is the second coming of David Robinson. This guy is the real deal that you build a team around, a perennial playoff team around for a decade or more. And just, couldn't be happier to have him as one of ours. Then, following the skills challenge, was my personal, always favorite event of the entire All-Star weekend, and that was the three-point challenge, the three-point contest. This year, the lineup for the three-point contest was incredible. You had both Splash Brothers from Golden State. You had James Harden, J.J. Redick, just all kinds of either big-name superstars or phenomenally good sharpshooting three-point shooters. And much to my surprise, as well as I'm sure many people's surprise, Steph Curry did not successfully defend his three-point shooting championship. He actually lost it to fellow Golden State Warriors splash brother Klay Thompson. I couldn't help but wonder, and I wouldn't blame anyone for wondering how much effort Steph Curry actually put into being victorious in it, because let's face it, there's nobody even remotely close to on his level when it comes to this type of activity or competition. Not now, not ever. But when you see who did end up winning it, to me, being an MVP that Steph Curry is, being a champion that Steph Curry is, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he was ever so slightly trying to just, do whatever he could to, while keeping the integrity of the competition and the results, increase Klay's odds of winning, just a little bit here and there what he could. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying I could see where that would be a thought, and I could see where it would be a good thought. Steph really has nothing to gain by winning that three-point contest again. However, his unsung, sidekick teammate, if he wins it, Steph could then get something more worthwhile out of it. He could have a newfound respect and appreciation and confidence in and from his teammate. That it has this trickle-down effect on the entire locker room, and it keeps everybody together on that team and working towards their goal of a second straight NBA championship. I'm not saying that will happen or would happen. I'm just saying, it's a possibility at least. It's a remote possibility of being a benefit from Klay winning, whereas there really is no benefit to Steph Curry and the Warriors from Steph winning again. So while I was surprised, I also wasn't, just a little bit. Had anyone other than Klay won or Steph, then I would have been very, very surprised. But the fact that it was Steph's teammate that he lost to, it just, that's the one guy that I could see him losing to, not just from a talent standpoint, but like I said, from a Steph just going out there and, I'm just going to have fun, and I kind of actually want him to win because that'd be a cool moment for him, and, he's my brother. I work hard with this guy. I love this guy, and it'd not only be good for him personally and individually, but it could also add to what we have going for us as a team. Not that they need any help there whatsoever, if you've been following along at all in this NBA regular season so far. But anyway, like I said, Klay Thompson ended up being your winner of the three-point contest. Congratulations, Klay Thompson. And then, of course, Saturday night was main evented and headlined by the dunk contest, the dunk competition, which featured 4 competitors this year. All 4 competitors faced off in the first round. From there, based off of the judges' scores that they were given, they determined who the final 2 competitors would be. They then went head-to-head until one outscored the other. It ended up being Zach LaVine, of course, defending dunk champ of your Minnesota Timberwolves versus Aaron Gordon of the Orlando Magic. And this final two showdown for the championship of the dunk contest was as epic and entertaining and just great as I've ever seen in my life. It was as good or better than Neek and Jordan. It was as good or better than anything than Vince Carter, than T-Mac, than Jason Richardson, than Isaiah Easy Rider, than Harold Miner, than D. Brown, than Cedric Sabalos, than anything you had ever seen in a dunk contest before. It was the best dunk contest finals I've ever seen in my life, and I've been watching basketball all my life, and I'm in my 30s. We'll just leave it at that. Now, while Zach LaVine ended up successfully defending his crown and becoming back-to-back slam dunk champion, and kudos to him, it was completely well-deserved on his part. He did nothing to lose that competition. He was phenomenal. Where it is controversial, and there is a little bit of an asterisk, is in two things. A, how the whole competition was scored and judged. Shaquille O'Neal had the opportunity to give Gordon the championship by giving him a 10 on a dunk that everyone else gave him a 10 on, but instead he gave him a 9. And that allowed the sudden death back and forth dunk contest to continue yet another round. Now, this wouldn't be such a big deal if not for the other factor. The other factor being this: the best dunk of the night by far, and in my opinion, the best dunk I've ever seen in my life, hands down, without question. It's not even close. Nothing that Zach LaVine did last year or this year even comes close. Nothing I've ever seen anyone ever do even comes remotely close to being as good as the dunk that we saw from Aaron Gordon in the final round, where he had a mascot holding the ball up above his head in front of the hoop, and he ran at the mascot, jumped over the mascot's head, grabbed the ball in the air, then proceeded to stick his feet straight out in a straight-legged sitting position while he switched the ball from his right hand under his butt cheeks and thighs midair to his left hand, come around, and one hand windmill dunk it. It was the sickest dunk I have ever seen in my life, by far. By far. It was incredible. If you have not seen it, you need to YouTube it, Google search it, whatever the heck you need to do. Aaron Gordon slam dunk contest. Just the pictures, the freeze frame pictures of it. You'd be like, oh my God, what? That's a dunk? I have to see this. It is jaw-droppingly remarkable. And so when you have a moment like that in a competition like that, and that person doesn't win, doesn't take home the trophy, it leaves, understandably, a less than satisfying bad taste in people's mouths. I was no different, and I'm someone who's a big time T-Wolves fan, so I'm very wholeheartedly rooting for Zach LaVine. I want Zach LaVine to win. I do not want Aaron Gordon to win at all. But no one can deny that Aaron Gordon had the best dunk of the dunk contest, and it was that good of a dunk that it should have been a mic drop dunk. I think we need to incorporate that for next year moving forward into the dunk contest for the final round, is the mic drop. Where when a guy like Aaron Gordon does a dunk like he did, the opponent, the other person, not the judges, not the person who did the dunk, the other competitor has the right to call it off, to drop the mic for that person and go, there is no dunk that we can see that's better than that. That dunk deserves to win this competition. and it is. I'm respectfully declining my attempt because that deserves to win. I like that, the mic drop, But like I said, it's got to be the other person. You can't just pull off the dunk and be like, "Oh, boom, I won." You get to say you won. Yeah, that wouldn't work. For obvious reasons, I hope. But anyway, like I said, I cannot stress this enough. If you have not seen the Aaron Gordon dunk from the 2016 NBA dunk contest, you have got to see it. It is the greatest dunk of all time, ever. Ever. But alas, he got runner-up. He didn't win for it. Zach LaVine ended up winning, and Zach LaVine had sick freaking dunks that were mind-blowing too in that contest. Don't get me wrong. Zach LaVine, any given year, in every year of the dunks competition history, Zach LaVine deserved to win based off of his cumulative performance in the competition. And this year was no different. However, I don't think there's ever been a year where the best dunk was better than what we saw from Aaron Gordon. And to me, the best dunk ultimately, if you make it to the final round and you do the best dunk of the contest in the final round, that should result in you winning. So that's what I would like to see, I guess, change, but nonetheless of how you felt about who should have won or whatever. The entertainment value of it, the jaw-dropping awe aspect to it all was as top-notch as it gets, and Zach LaVine is really revitalizing and bringing back and rejuvenating, giving new life to the NBA dunk contest again, and hopefully now here in the next couple years, Aaron Gordon and some other new younger guys can continue to put on those kinds of performances and make that a real big attraction again, not only for the fans' sake and well-being, but for the players' sake, because it is a phenomenal stage and opportunity for a lot of these young players who aren't talked about a lot, and don't get a lot of national attention except for when they're having a bad game, making mistakes, learning and growing. It gives them this great stage and opportunity to showcase what they can do, to garner more attention to themselves, especially in a sport like the NBA where shoe deals and jersey sales and things like that are a big part of how a person can be successful and make a living. I couldn't have been happier with how the dunk contest played out, both last year and this year, with the exception of, it felt like there should have been a co-winner this year. I think what it was really the only fair result, because Zach LaVine didn't deserve to lose either. But Aaron Gordon certainly did deserve to win. That is inarguable. And when you watch his dunk, if you haven't, you'll agree with me. But so then, so that was just, Saturday was freaking incredible. As good as it gets for an All-Star weekend. Sunday, the actual game comes around. For the most part, fairly good moments. Nice introduction, nice player introductions, nice stories, nice entertainment, nice presentation value. All the stuff that the NBA All-Star Weekend has grown accustomed to. Super duper high scoring game. I want to say both teams broke the record for most points scored by a team in an All-Star game. You had Paul George scoring over 40 points. You had Russell Westbrook ending up being the MVP with 30-some points, over 5 assists, over 5 rebounds. And this was his second consecutive year winning the NBA All-Star MVP, and he became the first player ever in the history of the event to do that, which is pretty remarkable when you think of all the great players that went and have partaken in that event year after year after year. It's crazy to think that Jordan never won 2 All-Star MVPs in a row, or Chamberlain when he was as dominant as he was, or whoever, this name you want to throw in there, just remarkable that he's the first to do it. So congratulations to him as well. And the West did win. Had the East come back and won, Paul George would have certainly been the MVP, as like I said, he was the game high point scorer with 41, I want to say, maybe 43.